Good morning. I am Kevin Price talking to you about you and your business. As always, I got a lot to talk about and delighted to have my good friend Tony Powers on, a radio personality in his own right, on as a guest today. He has a nationally syndicated program through italkus.com. Is that correct?
That's right, Kevin. How you doing this
morning?
Doing
great. And you're also out of the Carolinas and Georgia area as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Glad to have you on the program today. Real quickly, tell us a little bit about your show before I start talking about the many things we will cover today.
Well, we're on from 3 to 6 p.m. every afternoon. You can find us at italkus.com, and I hope everybody will tune in Monday through Friday and catch the program. But we talk about freedom, we talk about liberty, and we talk about the Constitution, and that's something that I think we really need to be talking about now because with that vote yesterday, I think what we saw is Congress handing over the president the power of the purse.
Yeah.
Which under Article 1, Section 7, and Clause 1 of the Constitution is supposed to be held by the Congress.
So I see you're one of those cranky old white guys who are still talking about the Constitution.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Oh man, so am I, and I feel more and more like Don Quixote. I need to go find some other windmill to chase down because these just aren't cooperating. They don't really give a hoot about rule of law.
No, they don't. And you look at this Obamacare, which is at the root of all of the problems that we've been seeing. The government shutdown and this fight over the debt limit increase. It all comes back to Obamacare, and that's what the conservatives were fighting for, is at least have individuals be treated equally under the law, another important part of the Constitution. And unfortunately, we as American citizens are no longer being treated equally under the law, and they're passed, and they're doing totally unconstitutional. And unfortunately, we the people and our country as a constitutional republic can't last if we continue down this path.
Yeah, no question about it. It's extremely depressing. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. And I guess the only upside is that they, kicked it up the road only a few months, not a few years, which I like it when the entire, government is held hostage by these kind of crises because, they can't do anything new when they're dealing with these crises.
Well, that's true. And that's been the good thing about the last 2 weeks is we actually didn't see any more unconstitutional laws coming out of the House and the Senate, and no more oppressive laws that they've been trying to put on us. But yesterday, and I think this is really important, when the president seizes upon himself the power of the purse, we actually are now living under tyranny because when the federal government or the administrative branch of government can take upon itself the power of the purse, the Founding Fathers put that clause into the Constitution because they wanted to make sure that the people's house, the House of Representatives, the branch of government that is closest to the people would control spending and would control how much debt the country got into because they knew that they would be the ones most answerable to the people because they're elected every 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Article 1, Section 8, it's very clear that it begins in the House of Representatives, and
right.
And I just keep on thinking that someone's going to take a lawsuit, and I think there should be lawsuits in the works on Obamacare because Obamacare started in the Senate. It didn't start in the House. And the argument of the administration is that it wasn't a tax, therefore it could start in the Senate. But the Supreme Court has now ruled it a tax. There's your constitutional basis for turning it around. And I got a feeling Justice Roberts might think a little differently on that particular aspect.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that nobody's talking about is that the House version of the bill was ignored. The Senate created their own bill, and then they sent it to the House. And, of course, they used all kinds of extraordinary measures to get it passed. And you have to have a spending bill or a taxing bill start in the House of Representatives. So I think if the Supreme Court looked at this thing and really followed the Constitution, they would say it was unconstitutional. But the thing that happened yesterday is, I think the most important, is that the president didn't seize power of the purse. He was given it by the Congress.
No.
Now he can say, I'm just not going to negotiate, and Congress and the House will just capitulate and give him the power of the purse, so he can raise the debt limit as much as he wants. And so now it's just out of control.
Yeah. I've become a bigger and bigger fan of the anti-federalists the older I get. The more I reread their documents, everything they predicted about the Constitution has come true. Your example here is the greatest example that the Congress would eventually become a rubber stamp to an incredibly powerful autocratic executive branch. That's exactly what's happened.
Oh, exactly, and we were warned about that by the founding fathers over and over again in the Federalist Papers. And if you look back at past precedents, this is unprecedented, where you actually have an executive who demands that the debt ceiling be raised, and he just says, "I'm going to sit here and hold my breath until I turn blue, and you're going to give me what I want." I mean, he's like a petulant child, but now. That petulant child is turned into a tyrant because he does control the power of the purse.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think about all the love given to Too Little, Too Late John Boehner?
Well...
by Republicans, by very conservative Republicans at that.
Well, I don't understand that at all. I think Boehner needs to go. I mean, they say he put up a good fight. I didn't really see him put up a good fight. And they said they got all they could get.
They got nothing. Oh, they did get an extension of the tax cuts. They did get an extension of tax cuts.
They didn't get anything. But, of course, Mitch McConnell got $2 billion for a lock and dam in his state. So we know how that got paid off. I mean, it was just disgraceful what we saw happen. And I was shocked that the House of Representatives went along with it, and overwhelmingly. And I hope everybody checks their congressman's vote. And, they let them remember it next year at the polls.
Yes, interesting. I noticed that they did extend that tax cut. They extended it till February. It could become vulnerable till February. It was supposed to expire on December 31st. The Bush tax cuts keep getting pushed into the future. But that was it. That's all they got, and it's only good till February. In the end, though, the real stuff, the big stuff, that didn't go anywhere, and especially this whole issue of the power of the purse that continues to be muddied by a Congress that apparently wants to give its power over to the president. I mean, why pay these guys if they don't even want to do their job? All right, he's a great contributor here on The Price of Business. Tony Powers, Powers to the People, weekdays 3 to 6. I'm assuming that's Eastern time. You can hear him at italkus.com. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Kevin. You have a great day.
You bet, and I look forward to having you on again. Also, coming up here on the program, much, much more. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usatoreview.com. This is The Price of Business.